How many of you have seen others that seem so confident? They seem to have it all together, and you stand back and you think, how come I don't have that emotional strength? And you wonder what it is within you that you need to alter. If you want to know how to do it, I've got 3 practical ways to help you become more emotionally stronger and become the person you really want to be. Those of you new to my channel, my name is Shireen, and I've been coaching and mentoring individuals for over 30 to 40 years. And I hope this video resonates with you. So I want to cover 3 very important points for you. The first point is around emotional intelligence and self-awareness. They go hand in hand. The second point I want to cover is around Locus of Control, a very important part when you manage your emotions. And the last part I want to talk about is the drama triangle. So we have Socrates. His key injunction is know thyself. And what does it actually mean? I'm going to use a little bit of an analogy and an example that I love from Wayne Dwyer. There's this individual, the samurai, who goes to this monk with many years of wisdom, and he says to him, I want to challenge you. I want to see if you actually really know what the concept of heaven and hell is. And the monk says to him, why the hell would I waste time with the lousy likes of you? And the samurai gets so frustrated and so upset, he hauls out his sword and he says, I could have you beheaded for that. And he's fuming and he's absolutely furious. And the Zen master says, that is hell. And suddenly the belligerent samurai, he acknowledges what has just been said, and he takes his sword and puts it back in his scabbard, and he says to him, I humbly apologize. Thank you for the lesson well learned. And he says, and that is heaven. I just think it's just such a profound story and an anecdote, because what it does say, it actually illustrates our mindset, and we create our own heaven and our own hell. So if you are emotionally feeling as though you're weak and you're not able to tackle things, it all starts with the mind. Everything, in fact, is in the mind. So I'm going to start off with self-awareness. And it may seem a bit of a foreign concept, and I'm going to explain it to you and give you a couple of examples of what it actually means. So what is self-awareness? And I'm going to go to the whole aim of mental well-being is to become aware of your emotions. And I'm going to use the analogy of an iceberg. If you look at an iceberg, the tip of the iceberg is kind of what you're aware of from a day-to-day basis. You understand yourself, you're in tune with yourself. Then just below that surface is the subconscious, which drives a lot of our behavior, but even more so the deeper unconscious. The whole aim of mental wellness is to bring whatever is in unconscious to the conscious. So if you can tap into and understand your feelings and become more emotionally literate, it can help you become better self-aware. So basically there's 2 components of self-awareness. The one is called metacognition, and that is where you're actually aware of your own thoughts. The second part is meta-mood, and that is that you're aware of your own emotions. That is the starting point, is to become aware of what you're actually feeling. What I want to share with you is a case that I had read somewhere about this individual, this guy who had a brain tumor, and they removed the brain tumor. And the impact of this is quite tragic. There was a physical disconnect between the limbic system and the neocortex, and this landed up in being emotionally flat. The impact of that was devastating towards any relationship he had. The core of the problem was his lack of insight and the lack of ability to be self-aware. So if you're conscious and you're self-aware, you can monitor and evaluate your emotions, and that in turn impacts the relationships. People who don't have the ability to identify and express their emotions, they refer to it as alexithymia. Now, individuals with alexithymia lack the imagination. They lack the ability to connect with their feelings and their thoughts. And they engage with logically external orientated thoughts. Well, many of you are not suffering from surgery, so look on the bright side, is that you're able to do something about your situation. So I'm going to just give you a small little framework that will guide you through dealing with your emotions and to become stronger. The first thing is the story that you create. So you see and you hear something, and then you create a story in your mind. And from that story that you've created, you start feeling certain emotions. And those feelings then lead to your neural pathways, ones that you're familiar with, and then you act and react in the same way. Most of our behavior is actually tapping into the subconscious or the unconscious, and we follow familiar ways of behaving. So we're so accustomed to behaving in a certain way, and you've probably heard the expression, past behavior predicts future behavior. So we are creatures of habits, and what happens is that your thoughts run a familiar path, your neural pathways. So you'll end up thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same way, and reacting and behaving the same way. So if you're feeling stuck and not emotionally strong, you need to start becoming self-aware and be aware of the way you feel. That's the starting point before you can become emotionally strong. I'm going to move to now point number 2, and that's your locus of control. So I'm just going to use some examples and demonstrate what I mean by your locus of control. So let's look at an example of where you failed one of your exams. What is your thought processes and what do you think about failing that exam? Do you think, geez, I wish I'd studied a lot harder? Or do you think, damn, that paper was so poorly constructed? Another example, you're walking down the road and you see a rock and you bump your toe on the rock and you turn around and you say, damn, you were so silly to have put that rock there in the first place. Or do you think, flip, I need to watch myself, I need to see where I'm walking. Now that means your locus of control. The individuals who look at themselves and they say, I should have studied harder, I must look where I'm walking, are those individuals who have an internal locus of control versus an external locus of control. So examine your thoughts when you're in a situation where you're feeling as though you're not equipped to deal with it. Are you attributing the control to somebody external, or do you say, right, what is in my power to change what I can change? So what I'm saying to you is if you have a look at who has control over the situation, that's going to make you emotionally stronger. You need to be aware of what's within your control and what is outside of your control. And what is outside of your control, just let it go. Come back to what is within your control and what you can do something about. So in this example, you could have studied a lot harder. The next example is you could watch where you're walking. Take back control. So I want to introduce you to the drama triangle. The drama triangle identifies 3 roles that you can occupy. The one is actually the rescuer, the other one is the villain, and the last one is the victim. So I'm going to start with the first one, the hero/rescuer. If you find yourself always wanting to help somebody, always wanting to lend an ear, and you feel sorry for individuals. So in this particular role, you know what's going to happen is that you're going to disable individuals. You're going to enable them to continue staying stuck in the victim mode. And that's a danger of being the hero. And some people wear it with a badge, feeling quite proud. I think to themselves, you know, I love rescuing others. This is who I am. But the reality is there's a lot of danger in playing and occupying that role. The second role is the villain or the persecutor. Somebody who always finds fault with somebody, who's always persecuting, always trying to judge an individual. Now the danger with that role is that you become so cynical and you become so critical, but essentially you're also critical within yourself. And you get pulled into the drama because everybody's looking for somebody to blame for their condition. And then the last role is the victim. The victim feels as though everybody's attacking me. Everybody's blaming and pointing fingers at me. But you know, we've forgotten that we are in control. And that's why I use the framework of locus of control, because you're in control and you can change the way you behave. Same with the victim mindset, the victim mentality. So those 3 roles actually contribute to the roles we play in a drama triangle. And what do you want to do with this information? Well, you want to get out of the drama triangle. And I'm going to now tell you how to get out of that drama triangle. So if you want to move out of the drama triangle, you can take on the following role. First of all, if the victim, you can start living in the present and you can start becoming the creator. You start creating the future and the reality you want. The difference is, as a victim, you don't do anything about it. And as a creator, you take responsibility and you have the choice to choose how you want to respond to any given circumstances. And then you create the future that you want. The persecutor stops blaming, stops finding fault, and the persecutor instead becomes the challenger. And he challenges your thoughts and your thinking and helps you become more creative. And the hero moves from being wanting to fix it to wanting to become that of a coach, helping you identify your areas for improvement, but facilitating the process of self-improvement. This is what it requires to be in the present. So you have a choice. Are you either going to be in the victim mentality or any of the roles in the drama triangle, because inevitably you all become victims, or are you going to move to the present where you start challenging each other, you start coaching each other and becoming a true creator in the reality you want? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave it a like and subscribe. I hope to see you in the next video, and thanks for watching.